Alright, so we're now moving over to the settings found within our terrain. So I've got our snow terrain level that was put together in our level demonstration, and if I select this, we can jump over to the settings button inside of our terrain. Now this doesn't have its own hotkey. It's not a tool, so you actually have to go click on it. And the first group of properties we're going to talk about are underneath the base terrain group. Now the first one of these is pixel error. This is kind of a quality setting for your terrain. This is how much erroring you're going to allow, and by error we mean inconsistencies between your height map and what you actually see. Here, let me pull back, and it's a little easier to see than it is to talk about. As a matter of fact, I'm going to jump over to Edit, go underneath the Render Settings, and let's turn off Fog, just for the time being. And then we'll come back over to our terrain. Now, as I increase our pixel error, you'll notice the overall quality of the terrain starting to drop. And again, it's kind of like you're allowing more errors, therefore the terrain is going to get more and more chunky overall. So that's kind of how that works. Now next we have our base map distance. Earlier on when we were talking about our terrain resolution, as a matter of fact, let me go under the terrain menu and bring up set resolution. We talked about the base texture. Your base texture resolution is the, as a reminder, is the map that gets applied at distance. This is not your splat map. This is kind of an overall image of all of the terrain texture that you've painted, which is applied when you're kind of far away.
Right. What it does is it actually takes all your splat maps, collapses them down into a single texture based on that resolution. Now with your base map distance, as you dial that in, that's going to determine the distance at which it's going to use the splat map calculations in real time to texture your terrain, or if it's going to use this one single texture.
And let me set this down to something like 10, and you can see the result of our 512 resolution base map in the distance, and then as I get close, you see it jump over to the splat map version, and then the low res version. Now generally you wouldn't want to be able to do it that close, of course, and with our particular map, I don't even think you can ever get 1,000 meters away. It's only 256 by 256. But at the same time, this allows you to fine-tune that setting, at which point you switch between this splat map base texturing and then just the overall texture map. The final setting found here within base terrain is cast shadows. And this is really just checking to see whether or not you want your terrain to cast real-time shadows. It's a simple checkbox. If we turn it off, you'll notice the terrain is no longer casting shadows. Now, those are all of the properties found within base terrain, which is all we're going to be covering in this video, so that will wrap things up. Thanks for watching.